So before we look to the future, Professor Yunus, I want to start by asking you whether you think the world has learned anything from the pandemic. I mean, judging from the ways that governments and societies handle the pandemic and trying to cope with the new normal in their ways of life.
Yeah, the pandemic has taught us many things. If you're not taking any notice of it, if you're not learning from it, we must be blind, must be hard of hearing, because it revealed all the weaknesses in our society, in our politics, in our international relations, and so on, in every aspect of it. If you look at the international aspect of it, the multilateralism kind of came out as an empty word, because when the big common enemy came to the world was not united. World became very divided, even attacking the very global institution which is at the forefront of fighting the common enemy. So we reduced its capacity and it challenged its financial power by withdrawing money from it, by withdrawing recognition from it, by starting investigation against it, and so on. So we shown the multilateralism, how empty it was at that moment particularly, and how we became nationalism became our main focus.
And Professor Yunus, you try to encourage people to do social business during this COVID-19 pandemic. But in reality, people must have argued that it's so difficult to do any kind of business at the moment. So far, what's your take after you try to encourage people to do so?
Well, whenever you start a business, you have a choice whether you want to do business to make money for yourself like you did in the past, or you want to do business to make a new world. And if you want to do a new world, then you'll be looking for another option, the social business to solve problems. So this is one. Another big question during the pandemic is, you hear everywhere, and the newspaper are full of those reports, that how much money is being reserved, is being already allocated for bailout packages, so that you can restart the engine, restart the train to go back to their old destination. So there's lots of money available already. Some country has billions of dollars, some country has trillions of dollars. They're already reserved, packaged, waiting to be spent. I'm saying, would you spend this money to take this train to the old destination, or you would like to use this money to build the train to go to a new destination? So the money is not an issue. The issue is where we put the money. We don't want to put the money into the fossil fuel industry, for example. We don't want to revive them. Why should we revive them? We know they are the one who is killing this country, killing all the world. You remember this young people, the teenagers in all our families, marching on the street before the pandemic came. They called themselves Fridays for Future. And they were blaming their parents, they are blaming their grandparents for being such a irresponsible person, that they created a world where young people, the teenagers, don't have a future. You have taken away, you have stolen their future away. So that now we cannot be blamed for that. We say we are building the future for you. So the money is here, we want to spend the money. So this is a question, this is an issue that I'm raising. It's not a new money. It's a question of using the money in the right direction. So there you need social businesses.
Dr. Shah, closer to home in Thailand, you see signs that we in Thailand are learning anything from the pandemic?
I think, as Professor Yunus has pointed out, we also learned similar lessons. A lot of people fell through the cracks. We see that happening. We see that a lot of our mainstay businesses in Thailand, tourism, hospitality, transportation, healthcare, these are our, and fresh produce exports, have all suffered because the people that man these businesses now no longer have the kind of stability, economic stability that Professor Yunus talks about. The other thing that we've seen in Thailand also is that because the kind of economic pillars we stand on, other than light engineering and export, this is going to be the state of affairs for some time. So we have a long distance to cover. So in a way, the train has stopped. But we need to find quickly the destination we need to get off at as well. So this I think in Thailand also, the situation resonates strongly with what Professor Yunus has just pointed out.
So since we are on this topic of social business, I would like to go to Dr. Shah. You have been here in Thailand for a long time now, trying very hard to promote social business in Thailand. So how successful have you been?
Since COVID, we've had more inquiries than before from the southern provinces, particularly from NGOs and also from international NGOs, where they've sought advice from the UNIS Center in Dhaka, and of course, since we do our best to connect that, to see how we can reach out. But I just want to reflect a kind of the situation in Thailand on investments. This morning, we found that there are 10 major investment opportunities in Thailand that the government is promoting. If you look at it, it's in rubber or medical gloves, pharmaceuticals, light engineering, courier services, etc. Now, if you look at these 10 employment opportunities, other than the ones that require industrial backbones or strong industrial competencies, couriers, cleaning, transportation, these are the areas where social business models can very easily be implemented without too much investment.
Professor Yunus, you mentioned many times that you'd like people to abandon old trains. So far, are people ready to really abandon old train of the old system?
Building a new path is hard work. It's not easy. Going back to the old life, old world is easy. So you have to decide whether you go back to your comfort zone, personal comfort zone, but sure enough to end in disaster, end in death. So we have to redesign the thinking process. And this is all about personal thinking. What do I do? How do I select it? And there are many issues in the thinking of economic issues. Like all these people, the migrant workers, the daily income earners, the people who sell food in the street, people who pick up things on the street. I said we should rename this sector. Informal sector should be renamed as a micro-entrepreneur sector.